What's going on, people? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to Elijah Talks Football, and welcome to another episode of Elijah Talks Football's Premier League predictions. And today we're gonna go through Premier League predictions for game week number 31. As you can see, there's 7 games to go. Of course, Man City's got a game in hand, so the Premier League is nearly come to a close. It really is. So this season's gone quick, It really has. But yeah, man, this will be the last Premier League game before the international break, because this will be the first time this year that there will be an international break since November 2025. So there we go. So this will be the last game in the Premier League and in the Carabao Cup as well before the international break. So yeah, man, there's some good games this weekend. The one in the Premier League for me has got to be Tottenham versus Nottingham Forest. Two teams buying up for survival at White Hart Lane. That's the big game in the Premier League. But the biggest game of the weekend is not in the Premier League, it's at Wembley. On Sunday, the 22nd of March 2026, it's the Carabao Cup final. Let me just see who is I think it's Arsenal versus Man City, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so yeah, Sunday the 22nd of March 2026 at 4:30 p.m. at Wembley Stadium. It is Arsenal versus Man City. Arsenal looking to win their first major trophy for since 2020 when they've won the FA Cup. Whereas for Man City, they're trying to win a trophy after they failed to knock out Real Madrid after they got out of the Champions League against Real Madrid. And Pep Guardiola would don't wants to get trophies this season because he has never ever gone trophyless in his career back to back seasons. So this is going to be a huge game. I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to do the Premier predictions first, and then I'm going to go through over it, and I'm going to speak about a little bit of a preview for the Carabao Cup final, give my prediction, and then I'll end this video. So that is how it's going to work. So if you guys have, and during the predictions, I'll be giving you guys some stats because I've got them on my phone. So yeah, just make sure you guys listen to it and you'll be able to understand what I mean. So yeah, man. So make sure you guys do hit the like button, do subscribe to the channel if you are new, hit the bell notification so they never miss any of my content. I'm on the road to 1K as usual. So if you guys can help me get there, that would be good. And yeah, and don't forget to hype this video if you can do so that I'll be able to earn points on my YouTube channel. So there we go. All right, guys. So without further ado, let's start off with the Premier League predictions. And so the first game of game week 31 is today, where Bournemouth will be facing Manchester United. Of course, Man United, since they got a one game a week, they play Monday nights, Friday nights, this and that. So yeah, their last game was on Sunday, and now they play on a Friday. So it's not like one game a week, but after that, Man United have no games up until the let me see my United's next game. So my United's next game will be on the 13th of April. 13th of April, where they will be at home to Leeds United. And if I calculate this, that's one, two, um, about 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Of course, there's an international break, but Man United's next game is literally in 3 weeks' time. That is absolutely crazy. So, boy, I bet some Man United fans after this game will be going on holidays for about 2.5 weeks just to spend some time with friends and family, and then they'll travel back to the UK to watch their team. So it's absolutely crazy. Like 3 weeks, on after today. That is crazy. But yeah, but let's move on in today's game, which is Bournemouth versus Manchester United. Now, the last time these two faced each other, it was an entertaining 4-all draw, and Bournemouth could have won it at the end. They could have won at the end, but they didn't. So yeah, that ends in a 4-4 draw. So I'm just gonna quickly read out some stats for this game. So Here we go. Of course, Man United, they won their last game against Villa, 2-1. Whereas for Bournemouth, they drew 0-0 away to Burnley. So Bournemouth are unbeaten the last 10 games in the Premier League. So yeah, Man United, after that defeat against Newcastle, they won against Villa at home. So there we go. But yeah, man, let me just quickly read out some stats. So this is the stats. So Bournemouth are unbeaten in the last 5 Premier League games against Man United, winning two, excuse me, and drawing three, scoring more goals in these five than they did in their first 12 against the Red Devils in the division, which was 10. Man United have lost just two of their 8 away Premier League games against Bournemouth. Their two visits of a tighter stadium seen them came from behind to level. Bournemouth have won 3 of their 4 Friday night games in the Premier League, with the exception being a 4-2 loss at Liverpool in the opening game of the season, and I remember that one. Man United have won just one of their 5 away Friday night games in the Premier League, beating Aston Villa 1-0 in August 2015. Bournemouth have drawn each of their last 4 Premier League games, 3 of them being goalless. The last time to draw 5 consecutive matches in a competition were Fulham in December 2020 to January 2021. And finally, since Michael Carrick took over of Man United in January, the Red Devils have more Premier League games and more Premier League points than any other side. So, as you can see, these stats kind of do work in Bournemouth's favour because, as you know, that they're unbeaten at Friday night, except for Liverpool. For Man United, they've only got one win on Friday night, and the last time they won away on Friday night was August 2015 against Aston Villa. So there we go. Now, in terms of this game, I would love it if Bournemouth could win. I really do love it, but I think it's going to be a draw. I think it's going to be another draw because of course Michael Carrick, I don't know if I don't think he's faced Bournemouth before. I don't think he did. I don't think he faced Bournemouth, so this will be the first time, and he knows it's going to be a tough game. Away at the Titan Stadium, Bournemouth are unbeaten in the last 10 games, but in the last 4 Premier League games, it has been draws, 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, this and that. So yeah, Bournemouth have drawn 4 games in a row in the Premier League, and this could be number 5. I don't see Bournemouth losing that game because, like I mentioned, Bournemouth are unbeaten the last 10 Premier League games. So let's see if Man United can end that one. And if you look at the table, Man United are 5 points above the top 5, and they're in third place. If Man United beat Bournemouth tonight, they will go um 8 points clear of the top 5, and Man United chances of getting Champions League football will continue to increase a little bit if they keep winning games. So yeah, Man United under Carrick is doing a really good job. And I tell you what, if they would have sacked Ruben Amorim early, maybe Man United could be in a much better position. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't say they'll be in the title race, but they'll be, definitely getting their chance at the Champions League. The reason why they can't is because they're only 5 points ahead of Liverpool and only 3 points behind Aston Villa. Now, of course, Aston Villa, Chelsea, and Liverpool fans will be watching that game and hoping for a Bournemouth win because all 3 teams, you know, have have got to be in the Champions League. Of course, Arsenal and City will definitely make it to the Champions League, but Man United, Villa, and Liverpool and Chelsea are fighting for UCL as well. And you can also put Brentford because they're 3 points behind. 4 points behind the top 5, so you can include them as well. So the battle for the Champions League is going to be interesting. It really is. So I don't think I think Bournemouth. I can see Bournemouth do get to the win, but Michael Carrick's is doing a really good job. So I think Man United fans wouldn't mind a draw. Of course, they'll be disappointed, but I don't think they'll mind a draw because they're gonna get Champions League football. There's no doubt about that. So for this game later today, I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw. A Desmond 2-2. I think that Man United will take the lead two times, and then Bournemouth will come back two times. That's how things going to happen in this game. So, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Definitely going to be watching that game. Hopefully, Bournemouth can do Chelsea a favour and beat Man United, which I don't think is going to happen. But yeah, I'm going to see it a 2-2 draw. So that's what I'm going to go for. Goal scores for Bournemouth. I'm going to go for Justin Kluivert and Ivan Simpson. For Man United, I'm going to go for Benjamin Sesko and Brian and Burmel. So those are going to be the goal scorers for today's game. So yeah, Bournemouth 2, Man United 2. So there we go. Now, so yeah, there we go. All right. So yeah. So in the next game, of course, is which is on a Saturday, is Brighton versus Liverpool. Of course, that is on a lunchtime kickoff. So yeah, man, Brighton versus Liverpool. Of course, Brighton did manage to go both. I mean, Brighton did manage to go away to Sunderland and beat them 1-0. Whereas for Liverpool, they dropped points, yeah, at home to Tottenham, yeah. Like Tottenham, before the Liverpool game, have lost 6 games in a row, and Tottenham gave Igor Tudor their first ever point, yeah, in his managerial career for Tottenham. First ever point. And not only that, people, Tottenham, yeah, did win under Tudor, but they got knocked out on aggregate. So Liverpool, man, like they're just a joke. I predicted them to batter Tottenham 4-1, but they're like Liverpool were really poor. And I tell you what, yeah, if Vicario would have made that save from Dominic Solanke's free kick, Tottenham could have won it, and they should have won it, and that could have been embarrassing. So yeah, man, but listen, they won against Galatasaray 4-0, and they're through to the next round. So there we go. But this is not going to be easy game because Brighton, especially at home against the big six teams, have really good results. You know, they beat Man United this season, they beat Man City, they drew to Tottenham, and Arsenal are the only big six team to go out there and win. But I think they're lucky because Brighton have bare chances. So Brighton at home against the Big Six is really good. It really is. And for me as a Chelsea fan, I'm gonna also gonna be watching that game. I'm hoping for Brighton to win. But before I get into my predictions, let's just see the stats. So Brighton have won 2 of their last 3 home league games against Liverpool, beating them 3-2 in this exact fixture last season. They only won 1 of their last 13 against the Reds, drawing 6 and losing 6. Following their 2-win at Anfield in December, Liverpool are looking to complete the league double for Brighton for the first time since 2019 to 20 season. Of course, when they won the league, but they ain't going to do that now. Liverpool have won 2-0 and 3-0 at FA Cup as well this season against Brighton. They've won 3 games without conceding in a season against an opponent. 21-22 against Arsenal, while Brighton last lost 3 without scoring 06-07 against Bristol City. After a one win in 30 Premier League games at the start of December, Brighton have now won 3 of their last 4, losing 1, and of course that was against Arsenal. Liverpool have conceded 8 goals in the 90th minute, including stoppage time in the Premier League this season, with only Leeds shipping in more, which is 9. All 8 of these goals against the Red Devils have resulted them drawing 3 or losing 5 the match. So there we go. And finally, Brighton are one of just 3 sides who conceded more goals in first half games than they had in the second half in the Premier League this season, along with Burnley and Tottenham Hotspur. Indeed, only league leaders Arsenal have conceded fewer goals after half time than the Seagulls. So there we go. So as you can see, yeah, especially from that first stat, um, you know, that stat works in Arsenal's favor. It really, really does. It really, really does. So, yeah, man. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in that game. But yeah, man. I know Liverpool fans will hate me to say this, but I'm backing Brighton to win. I really do because they've won two of their three home games against Liverpool and drawing one. So Brighton are beaten at home against Liverpool, and I think they will continue to do that. So for this game tomorrow, I'm gonna go for Brighton win of 2-1. Because Brighton at home are good, and against the Big Six, it's only also they lost to, and Chelsea have got to go there soon as well. So there we go. So yeah, 2-1 to Brighton. It's going to be my prediction for that game on Saturday. Goal scores for Brighton, I'm going to go for Danny Welbeck and Matoma. For Liverpool, I'm going to go for Dominic Szoboszlai because he loves scoring goals and he's been Liverpool's best player this season. So yeah, Dominic Szoboszlai is going to score, and if it's not from inside the box, it'll probably be a free kick. So yeah, man, 2-1 to Brighton is going to be my prediction for that game tomorrow. So there we go. All right. The next game is Fulham versus Burnley, and that is a 3 o'clock kickoff, of course. Fulham drew 0-0 away to Nottingham Forest on Sunday, whereas for Burnley, they drew 0-0 at home to Bournemouth. And by the way, this will be the only 3 p.m. kickoff game because there'll be no other games than that. So there we go. All right. So let me just quickly read out these stats for that game. Um, so yeah, following their 3-2 win in December, Fulham are looking to complete the league double over Burnley for the first time since the 1950 to 51 season. Burnley have won 3 of their last 4 away league games against Fulham, winning the last 2 visits by the same 2-0 scoreline. Fulham have lost just sorry guys. Fulham have lost just one of their last 14 Premier League games against promoted sides, going 1-0 down at Leeds in January. Fulham have lost 1-0 against West Ham and draw 0-0 with Nottingham Forest in their last 2 Premier League games. They went 3 without a goal in December 2023, a one which included a 2-0 home defeat to Burnley. Burnley have won just one of their last 21 Premier League games, though 4 of those 10 points in this one have come away against London sides, 3-2 Crystal Palace and 1-1 versus Chelsea. And finally, Burnley have kept just one clean sheet in their last 41 Premier League games, conceding each of their last 25 since a 2-0 win at Fulham in December 2023. So when you look at these stats here, this one these stats kind of do work in Burnley's favour because Burnley, in their last 2 visits to Fulham, have won 2-0. So there we go. And yeah, whereas for Fulham, they still haven't done the double over Burnley, which is crazy since, the 1950 to 51 season. Absolutely crazy. But listen, I think here that Fulham, have got to win the game because they had 0 wins in 2. They lost. They played their last league game against West Ham. Have lost 1-0. A relegation team. So yeah, man. Listen, I think here that Fulham are going to win this game because even though Burnley have got a good record at Craven Cottage, Burnley are going down for me. They are going down because they're on 20 points and they're only 9 points, below 7 teams. So there we go. And since Craven Cottage is a very difficult place to go to, I'm gonna go for Fulham 2-0 win because Burnley, I don't think they scored in the last 2 games, I think. I don't think they did. So, yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-0 Fulham win against Burnley. So, Burnley goal scores, I'm going to go for Harry Wilson and Wow Jimenez. So, yeah, 2-0 to Fulham is going to be my prediction for that game tomorrow. So, there we go. So, yeah, Fulham 2, Burnley 0. Even though Burnley, in the last 2 visits to London, have been a win against Palace and a 1-1 draw against Chelsea, but they will lose. They will lose Burnley. So yeah, 2-0. All right. The next game, which is a 5:30 p.m. kickoff, is Everton versus Chelsea. Of course, this will be Chelsea's first ever visit to the Hill Dickinson Stadium, of course, because of course the Hill Dickinson Stadium started this season, and the first game was, I believe it was Everton versus Aston Villa or something like that. So there we go. So yeah, this will be Chelsea's first ever visit to Hill Dickinson Stadium. So yeah, normal Goodison Park, Hill Dickinson Stadium, you know, the near the Merseyside River, in Liverpool in the northwest of England. So there we go, man. There we go. Of course, Chelsea have lost 1-0 to Newcastle their last game, and of course got battered 3-0 at home to PSG in the second leg. Whereas for Everton, they lost 2-0 at home to Arsenal, which I did get that spot on because I did say Arsenal win 2-0. So there we go. But yeah, man, let me just read out these stats because I know one of them is going to say Chelsea have a very poor record away to Everton. So yeah, man. So we'll just see what happens. So look at this. Everton have lost just one of their last eight Premier League home games against Chelsea. Only one, going 1-0 down in August 2022, which of course that was under I think that was under Thomas Tuchel if I can remember properly. And yeah, and look at this. Look at this. They've won more games at home against Chelsea than they lost in their last eight. It's just a joke, man. Anyway, following their 2-0 win in December, Chelsea are looking to complete the league double over Everton for the first time since 16-17 season, of course, which we've won the league. Everton have failed to score in 12 of their last 90 Premier League games against Chelsea, including each of their last four in a row. Overall, they've drawn a blank in 28 Premier League meetings with the Blues, or in doing so more than against Manchester United, which was 29. Following their 2-0 win against Burnley at the start of the month, Everton are looking to win consecutive Premier League games at the Hill Dickinson Stadium for the first time ever because, of course, they started this season. This is the latest into a Premier League campaign. They've not won consecutive home games since 2014 to 15 season, which was in April. So at the start of the month, I should say. Chelsea have lost two of the last three Premier League games, as many as they had in the previous 13, having kept a clean sheet in their first league game under Liam Senior, which was 2-0 against Brentford. The Blues have now conceded each of their last eight, and yeah, when you see something like this, when you see something like this, it's either from long range or from corners or from set pieces. Like, yeah, we are absolutely terrible defensively. And as you can see from the stat, Chelsea have only got one win in their last eight away games against Everton. And that was in August 2022 under Thomas Tuchel when we beat them 1-0. It's a joke. But yeah, that was Goodison Park. This at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Now you think here that Chelsea should win this game. But after the recent performances, yeah, I can't see that happening. And also, there is no Chalobah. He's out for 6 weeks, yeah, because of the injury against PSG. There is no Fofana because he's injured. There is no Reece James because he's got a hamstring injury. And I don't know if Gusto is going to be available because he was ill the last game. I'm not sure he's going to be available for the game against Everton. We shall see when the lineup is out. But if he's out, there you go. And people are saying, yeah, that Josh Achapong needs to start. I don't see that happening. I really don't. Because Liam Senior has been playing Josh Achapong for a lot of games, and he doesn't have the faith in him. You know what I mean? So this, of course, there's no Jorgensen still. So my predicted lineup going into that game will be Cuckoo left back. Um, I mean, Josh Archibald has to start because there's no right back. So even though he's no right back, we're gonna have to put him there because he simply don't have a right back. Or maybe I might see Caicedo playing that position because I've seen this before. So either Caicedo or Josh as right back. They're the two centre backs, man. Like I can honestly see Tosin and Badiashile starting. I can see that happening because I would love Hato to start, but that means Hato is going to be alongside Tosin Fine. Maybe the centre backs might be Hato and Tosin. Maybe that's will be the two centre backs I'm predicting. And yeah, when you see it, when you hear something like this, if you're a Chelsea fan, like you better buck yourselves up because it's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be another season where we simply cannot beat Everton away from home. And of course, this will be the Hugh Dixon Stadium for the first time. Do not get me wrong, but this will be another game where we go away to Everton and we simply do not win. So yeah, man. And after I backed Chelsea, yeah, to beat Newcastle last week, they let me down. They let me down. So I know Chelsea fans ain't are gonna hate me to say this, but I see this being a draw. I really do. I see this being a draw. So both teams are definitely gonna concede. So I'm just gonna go for 1-1 because at this point when when I see that we've got injuries, that we have three losses in a row, lost to Newcastle, just only one win in five, something like that, just to the days of Enzo Maresca. Yeah, man, this could be another game where Chelsea just simply cannot beat Everton away from home. I'll be very surprised if we do because there's no chance of that happening, but we shall see, man. We shall see. But yeah, I'm just gonna go for 1-1. Goal score for Everton, Beto, Chelsea, João Pedro. That's basically it. So yeah, I'm just gonna go for 1-1. I want to back my team, but after the recent performances and results, I just can't, man. I simply can't. So yeah, Chelsea won. Sorry, Everton won. Chelsea won is gonna be my prediction for that game tomorrow. And then another game on a Saturday night. It's Leeds United versus versus Brentford. Of course, Brentford drew 2-2 against Wolves, whereas for Leeds United, they also drew as well, but it was a 0-0 draw. Now, Leeds United, yeah, they've got to win this game. They've really got to win this game. And in the next 7 games, Leeds United have got to win 3 of them because they're on 32 points. All Leeds have to do, yeah, is to win 3 Premier League games for them to stay up. Because Palace, I'm not going to include them because they're 1 point away of staying up. But Leeds United, Tottenham, Forest, and West Ham still haven't got 40 points. They still haven't. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, this is a game where Leeds United have got to win because if they fail to beat Brentford and either and let's say the likes of who have West Ham got? Sorry, West Ham beat Aston Villa on Sunday, and let's say that either Tottenham or Tottenham or Nottingham Forest win that game, then Leeds United could be in 17th. They could potentially be 17th. Actually, no. Well, if Tottenham win, no, actually, Leeds United will be in 16th because West Ham's and Forest's goal difference is better than Leeds United, so at least could be 16th, and they could be back in the relegation zone. So this is a must-win game for Leeds United, and for me, I want Leeds United to win. I really do because I'm looking at the table, and Brentford are 3 points behind my club, another West London club that's trying to aim for the Champions League. So I'll be watching that game, and I want Leeds United to win, and they have to in order for them to stay up. So Leeds United, if you can beat Chelsea at home, then beat another West London club at home. So yeah, I'm gonna go. So yeah, if I before I get into my predictions, let me see. Let's read out some stats. So Leeds have lost just one of their last 16 home league games against Brentford and unbeaten and in 7 since a 1-0 loss in February 2015. 4 of their last 6 league games between Brentford and Leeds have been drawn, with both sides winning once each in that one. Brentford have lost just one of their last 13 Premier League games against newly promoted sides, winning 11, drawing 1, a 2-1 defeat at Sunderland in August 2025. Leeds are winners in their last 5 Premier League games, failing to score in each of their last 3. They had a longer one without a goal in February/March 2022, which was 4 games. Across the last three seasons, Brentford have dropped more points from winning positions than any other Premier League side, drawing 2-2 from 2-0 ahead against the bottom side Wolves last time out. And finally, Brentford lost 7 of their last 8 away Premier League games this season, with only Wolves picking up fewer points on the road than the Bees in the time. Brentford have now won 5 of their last 7 on the road, with only Arsenal picking up more away points than the Bees in that one, which was 16. So, as you can see here, these stats sometimes work in Leeds' favour and sometimes work in Brentford's favour. But for me, as a Chelsea fan and as a football fan, I want Leeds United to win, and they've got to win because anyhow they do not win this game, Leeds are in trouble. And like I said, Leeds United of the next 7 games have got to win 3 of them for them to stay up because they're on 32 points. They win 3 games, they're on 41, and they're definitely staying up. So for me, I'll be watching that game, and I'm gonna go for Leeds win. I'm gonna go for Leeds win, and I'm gonna go for. Let's go for. I think Leeds are going to win. Let's go for 3-1 Leeds. Yeah, I think Brentford are going to score. Yeah, I'm gonna go for 3-1. I'm gonna go for 3-1 Leeds. Chelsea when they lost 3-1, West London club. Brentford lost I think no drew their last game against Leeds United, and of course Leeds United were unbeaten in that one. So yeah, man, I'm gonna go for Leeds United win, and they have to win. Anyhow, they do not beat. Anyhow, if Leeds do not beat Brentford, then for me they could be in trouble. And I mean, they could be in trouble in terms of getting relegated, which they have to survive under Daniel Farker. Do you know what I mean? See, I'm gonna go for a Leeds 3-1 win against Brentford. Goal scorers, for Brentford, I'm gonna go for Igor Thiago. For Brentford, I'm gonna go for um Dominic Calvert-Lewin to score a brace, and then I don't know who else is going to score for Leeds United, but yeah, I'm going to go for 3-1 Leeds. Please, Leeds United, I am beg you, just win this game so that Brentford cannot catch up to my club. Please, please. So yeah, I'm going to go for a Leeds 3-1 win against Brentford. So yeah, man, that's all the Saturday's games. Now let's move on into Super Sunday's games, and there's 2 of them. So yeah, the first game, which I'm gonna predict, is Aston Villa versus oh actually, sorry. There's actually 3 games on a Sunday, so do forgive me. But yeah, the first game is the Trine Weir Derby. Newcastle United versus Sunderland, of course. Both teams face each other at the Stadium of Light, and Sunderland beat them 1-0. And in that one, Sunderland were good at home. But for Newcastle, they went away to Stamford Bridge for the first time since 2012 and won. For Sunderland, they lost 1-0 at home to Brighton. So hey, listen, despite Sunderland only winning 1 Premier League game in the last 5, they're still staying up because they're on 40 points. So yeah, but Sunderland will make it would love to win at the City Ground. So we shall see what happens. We shall see what happens. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, Newcastle face Sunderland at the Trineway Derby at St James's Park. So let's look at the stats for this game. So Newcastle are winless in their last 5 home league games against Sunderland. With their first such meeting at St James Park since a 1-1 draw in March 2016. Sunderland are unbeaten in the last 10 league games against Newcastle, winning 7 of their last 8. Is the joint longest one either side has had without defeat in history of the fixture. Newcastle also 10 between 1985 and 1997. Newcastle have scored just one goal in their last 6 league games against Sunderland, while the last league clean sheet against the Black Cats was in August 2011 with Tim Krul in goal. Of course, if you know him, he's also the former Norwich City goalkeeper. Um, the reverse fixture between Newcastle and Sunderland in December had a combined of 0.54, Sunderland 0.30, to Newcastle 0.34. The Secularies on record in the Premier League game only ahead of Bournemouth Burnley in December 2019. The 11 shots in that game were also the lowest of any Premier League side since the start of 2 seasons ago. And finally, actually, no, Newcastle have won both Premier League games in March, beating Manchester United and, of course, Chelsea. They had a 100% winning a month in the league, minimum 3 games in November 2018. And finally, Sunderland won 1-0 at least in their last Premier League away game. The last one consecutively on the road in May 2014, while they did so without conceding in October 1999, which was basically a year before I was born. So yeah, man. I mean, it's such a tough game to predict because, like you heard me from these stats I've just read, Sunderland unbeaten the last 10 games against Newcastle. 10, like that's absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Now, looking at this table, yeah, I want Sunderland to win because Newcastle are 6 points behind my club. And if they beat if they beat Sunderland at home and Chelsea lose, they'll be 3 points behind. 3 points behind my club. I, so yeah, man. I mean, it's so tough because St James Park is a difficult place to go to. But over the last few games, like St. James Park hasn't been the same. It really hasn't. A few losses and a few draws. I remember Newcastle's last away game. I mean home game was against Everton, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. Was that Man United and won 2-1 and they were down to 10 men. So there we go. I mean, it's so tough, because Sunderland is just their way that that form here is really surprising. The fact that they're unbeaten the last 10 games against Newcastle is crazy, man. It really is. But this game on Sunday, I think Newcastle will just about, yeah, beat Sunderland because they want to get revenge. They want to finally beat Newcastle, Sunderland, in all competitions since 2021. They really want to do that, Newcastle. So I think Newcastle will just about nick it. They will just about. But I would love for this Sunderland to win because I don't Newcastle to catch up to my club. I really don't. I really don't. So yeah, 2-1 to but yeah, I'm just gonna back Newcastle to win this game by 2 goals to 1. It's not it's gonna be both team. It's not gonna be easy for both teams. So it's a huge derby. I'm looking forward to it. But I think Newcastle will just about get the job done since it's at St. James Park. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Newcastle win. Goal scorers, I'm gonna go for Volta and Nancy Gordon to score for Newcastle. For Sunderland, I'm gonna go for Bowie or someone else to score. So yeah, 2-1 to Newcastle. They'll just about get the job done. They're just about. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Newcastle will just about get the job done. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Newcastle win. Right. The next game, of course, and the reason why I'm not doing the Man City Palace prediction um is because um is because they don't have the game this week in Man City, and I will get to the Carabao Cup final prediction in just a moment. But yeah, just ignore the dates and times on this one. So yeah, just ignore that one. But yeah, another game on Sunday is Aston Villa versus West Ham United. Of course, West Ham got a draw against Manchester City, whereas for Aston Villa, they lost 3-1 away to Man United, and after they will be level, they conceded 2 goals after that. So there we go. And as Villa are in deep trouble because if I take a look at their recent results, Villa, by the way, have lost 3 Premier League games in a row. Three, you know. I know one of them was Chelsea and Man United. What's the other one that they've lost to? What's the other one? Let me just have a look. It was. Oh yeah, Wolves as well. So yeah, man, Villa have lost 3 Premier League games, and they're 2 points above fifth place. Do you know what I mean? So I think yeah, this is gonna be interesting. For me, what I'm gonna predict, but as usual, let's go into some stats for this game. So let's have a look. So Villa are looking to complete the league double over West Ham for the first time since 2010 to 11, the last time the Hammers were relegated from the top flight. Wow. West Ham are winners in their last 6 Premier League games against Aston Villa, alternating between a draw and defeat each time, which was 3 times. Though they're unbeaten in 6 Premier League games overall against West Ham, um, Aston Villa have won just one of their last 7 against them at Villa Park. Aston Villa have lost 3 consecutive Premier League games, as many have in the previous 17 beforehand. The Villains last suffered 4 Premier League defeats in April 2022, and one which included a 1-2 defeat to West Ham, while Unai Emery has never done so in his entire managerial league career. Wow. West Ham have earned 15 points from their last 9 Premier League games, one more they had in their first 21 this season. No side have scored fewer Premier League goals so far in 2026 than Aston Villa, which was 10. The Villains were the joint 5th highest goal scorers between August and December, this time with 30. Finally, despite using a league high 32 different players in the Premier League this season, no team has fewer different goal scorers than West Ham this turn, which was 10 different players. So as you can see, Villa are unbeaten against West Ham, but their record at West Ham at Villa Park is not that good, you know. It really isn't. Only one, win at Villa Park against West Ham. Crazy. Now again, in terms of my club and hopefully to get into the top 5, West Ham, they've got to win this game. They really do, because West Ham play the same time against Tottenham and Forest, which I'll get you just a moment. Now, if West Ham, yeah, let's say that West Ham beat Villa and Tottenham and Forest drew their game, then West Ham are out of the relegation zone. And if Leeds United do lose to Brentford, yeah, West Ham will be in 16th and level of points with Leeds United. Do you know what I mean? So this is a huge game for West Ham. This is a huge game. Now, do I think here that West Ham could go to Villa Park and win? No, because this game might be a draw. But West Ham over the last few games, yeah, have been looking good. They've only lost one game, yeah, in the Premier League, and that was to Liverpool. In the last 5. So only one defeat in the last 5 Premier League games, not but that bad. Of course, one defeat, one draw, and one defeat, one win, and 3 draws. It's not particularly that bad. So, and the fact that West Ham on the same points as Forest and 1 point behind Tottenham, they know if they win this game, they're out of the relegation zone, because Tottenham and Nottingham Forest play each other on the same time. So there we go. So for me, West Ham will had a good points against Man City at home, and yeah, they're looking to get out of the relegation zone, and hopefully West Ham can do Chelsea a favour and beat Villa, and I'm gonna back them because Villa have lost 3 Premier League games and they could have ended up botting it. Do you know what I mean? And I think Villa fans will be disappointed, but if Villa do not make it to the top 5, then their aim is to win the Europa League. because if you do win the Europa League, that means you win the Champions League. But if Villa, yeah, do not win the Europa League, there will be another disappointing season of not making to the Champions League like they did last season. Do you know what I mean? So I think Villa more focused on winning the Europa League than getting to the top five. And when people say to me, "Oh, Villa win the title race," I said no, because Villa have not got players that have been there and done that. So there you go. And the fact that the form is just going down a bit, yeah, man. So I'm gonna back West Ham to win that game. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a 2-1 West Ham win. Goals go for Villa. I'm gonna go for Ollie Watkins for West Ham. I'm gonna go for Jared Bowen and Summerfield to score. So yeah, 2-1 to West Ham. I'm gonna back them to win, and hopefully they do. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a 2-1 West Ham win. And of course, the last game of the Premier League before the international break is the big one. Tottenham versus Nottingham Forest. Of course, both teams did win in Europe, but Forest are through and Tottenham are out. You know what I mean? But both teams drew their last game. Tottenham against Liverpool away, and Forest are home against Fulham. Now, this one is a six-pointer because Nottingham Forest are. This is basically 16th versus 17th. 1 point separates the team. Tottenham in 30 points, Forest on 29. Of course, before the Liverpool game, Tottenham have not won a Premier League game on the Eagle Tudor. So the last two games here, Eagle Tudor is starting to show some signs. He really is, you know. He really is starting to show some signs. And like I mentioned before, the game against Liverpool, like I expected Tottenham to get battered, but they had a good performance and got a point, and they should have won it. And in the game against Atletico Madrid, even though they lost on aggregate, they showed heart, fight, desire, passion. They had chance of the chance of the chance, and yeah, man, if they beat Clinical, they could have done a remontada the way Sporting Lisbon did. So Eagle the last two games has shown some signs, but he still have not won a Premier League game against in but Tottenham and especially under Eagle Tudor have lost every single Premier League game and are still yet to win a league game this year, 2026. So there we go. So yeah, man, this is the big one. Forest against Tottenham versus Forest. Of course, when these two met last season, Forest won 2-1. But that was under Nuno Espirito de Santo. This time they've got a different manager. So yeah, man, I'll be getting into my prediction in just a moment. But first things first, let's go over some stats. So Spurs, or Tottenham, I should say, have lost their last three Premier League games against Nottingham Forest, having won six in a row against them before that. Only at Southampton do Nottingham Forest have more away wins in the Premier League than they do at Tottenham, winning this exact fixture 2-1 last season. Tottenham Hotspur remain winners in 12 Premier League games in their top flight history, only from April to November 1912 and December 1934 to April 1935 have they ever gone longer without winning. Tottenham are the only side without a Premier League win so far in 2026, drawing 5 and losing 7 of their 12 games. Only 3 sides had longer ones without a win from from the start of the calendar year, of whom they were relegated: Sunderland, Derby, and Middlesbrough. Nottingham Forest are winless in their last in 7 Premier League games, while only bottom side Wolves have failed to score more in different games than Forest this season. Though only West Ham have used more different players than Nottingham Forest in the Premier League this season, the Tricky Trees have made fewer starting 11 changes than any other side. Tottenham have conceded more goals from outside of the box than any other Premier League side this season, with their 11 against most of the campaign since the 07-08 season. And finally, Nottingham Forest boss Victor Pereira is unbeaten in the last 3 Premier League games against Tottenham, with one of the 2 points while in charge of Wolves this season coming away, at Spurs. And finally, despite starting fewer than half of the games, Richarlison have scored more than twice as many goals as any other Spurs player in the Premier League this season. Now, in terms of this one, um, like you expect Tottenham to finally get a win, especially at home, but I just can't trust Tottenham at this moment in time. Now, don't get me wrong. The last two games, yeah, in all competitions, they have shown signs. They really do. But they still haven't won a Premier League game this season. So if I was a betting man, I'll bet yeah for either this game to be a draw or Forest to win, and both sides and both teams scoring. Because when you think that Tottenham should win, they simply can't. Yes, they've got to win again on the Eagle Tudor, but they're out so that doesn't really count as a win. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I know Tottenham fans want me to say this, and listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Tottenham do win. Of course I will have to because they finally won a Premier League game this year. But I wouldn't be surprised because, like I said, the last two games they showed some signs. They really did. But Tottenham, when it comes to their home stadium, is still poor. Only two wins at home this season: Brentford and Burnley. Yeah, I mean, you expect Tottenham to win, but at this point, I really do not see that happening. So Tottenham fans, can can be a little bit excited that the performances of the last three games have been good to watch, but they will know that they simply cannot win at home all season. Only two wins. So I think Forest, if I was a betting man, I'm gonna go for Forest to win 2-1 like they did last season. And I know they did a different manager, but like the stat said, Victor Pereira, yeah, is unbeaten in the last three games against Tottenham. Three. And most of them were against where he was the Wolves manager. Do you know what I mean? So Avin's going to remain unbeaten. So, yeah, I'm going to go for Forest 2-1 win. It wouldn't shock me if Tottenham do win, especially since if they get their first Premier League game since the start of the calendar year. But I think Forest will just put the pressure more on Tottenham. And yeah, if Tottenham do lose that game and West Ham win against Villa, then Tottenham will be in 18th. They could be in 18th. And that is absolutely crazy. So, yeah, man, it's a huge game in the Premier League in terms of survival. 16th versus 17th. And that's all you need to know. So, yeah, Tottenham, they're going to lose another game at home. So, yeah, I'm going to go for 2-1 Forest win. Goal scorers for Forest, I'm going to go for Igor Jesus and Morgan Gibbs White to score. For Tottenham, I'm going to go for Richarlison to score. So yeah, 2-1 to Nottingham Forest is going to be my prediction for that game on Sunday. All right, guys. So let me go for my predictions one more time. So today's game, I've gone for a 2-2, a Desmond 2-2 draw between Bournemouth and Man United on Friday Night Football. Then Saturday's games, lunchtime kickoff, I've gone for a 2-1 Brighton win against Liverpool, a 2-0 Fulham win against Burnley, a 1-0 draw between Everton and Chelsea, and then a 3-1 Leeds win against Brentford. Then Sunday's games, I've gone for a 2-1 West Ham win against Villa, a 2-1 Newcastle win against Sunderland in the Triangle Derby, and then last and not least, a 2-1 Forest win against Tottenham for the fight for survival. So that is all my Premier predictions for game week number 31. Alright guys, so before I end this video, it's time to talk about the biggest game of the weekend. And I'm not talking about the Premier because I'm done with that one. I'm talking about the Carabao Cup final, Sunday the 22nd of March 2026 at 4:30 p.m. at Wembley Stadium. It is Arsenal versus Man City. Arsenal are looking to win a major trophy for the first time since 2020, which they've won the FA Cup, which was about 6 years ago. For Man City, though, they're looking to gain to the Champions League and win a major trophy because their chances of winning the quadruple is over because they've got knocked out of the Champions League against Real Madrid in both legs. So let's see if Manchester City could end Arsenal's quadruple hope. So there we go. Now I can't give you the stats, but what I do know is that Pep Guardiola and Man City have lost two finals here at Wembley Stadium last season, and both of them in the FA Cup, by the way. Last season against Crystal Palace, and then the season before that against Manchester United. So Man City's record at Wembley Stadium in the last two games has particularly been that great. Two losses in a row. Whereas for Arsenal under Mikel Arteta, they have a good record at Wembley. um they faced Man City in the semi-final of the FA Cup and won, and of course they beat Chelsea in the FA Cup final as well. Then they faced Liverpool in the Community Shield and they won on penalties. Then they faced Man City in the Community Shield and they also won on penalties. So Mikel Arteta is unbeaten in the last four games at Wembley, winning all four of them. Of course, two of those games were penalty shootouts. So, as you can see from the stats, these kind of do work in Arsenal's favor. They kind of do. Like Arsenal, I feel like in the last 10 games, 10 years, um, sorry, sorry, ever since that defeat to Birmingham in 2011, Arsenal have already lost two games at Wembley. Only two. Like, that's crazy, you know? That is crazy. So, if I were to make a bet, yeah, and if people ask me who do you think is going to win, I'll probably have to go for Arsenal because Arsenal this season, yeah, have been superb. They're in first place of the Premier League. They're in the FA Cup quarter final. They're in the Carabao Cup final, which is this Sunday, and they're in the Champions League quarter final. So Arsenal chances of winning so Arsenal still have a chance to win the quadruple, even though I don't think that's gonna happen. Now, do I think, yeah, they're also going to steamroll Man City and batter them? No, because it's going to be a tight game. Like, Arsenal fans should know this, and City fans should know it. So, if I was an Arsenal fan, I would not be that much confident, but I'll be a bit confident because Arsenal have only lost three games in all competitions this season, which is less than any other team in the Premier League. What else? Yeah, they're doing well this season. They're trying to win a major trophy, and I know that Man City this season hasn't been at their best. It really hasn't. They're 10 points clear of Man City in the Premier League. Of course, Man City do have the game in hand, so things could change. And yeah, man. So if I was a betting man, I'll bet for Arsenal to win. So in terms of my prediction, I think here that it's going to go to a penalty shootout. I know that both teams ain't going to like it, but I feel like this game might go to a penalty shootout. And if I can pick one team that will that will win a penalty shootout, it's going to be Donnarumma. Because let's say, yeah, that Kepa, you know, if they start Kepa or they bring him on for a penalty shootout, maybe I'll go for Arsenal to win a penalty shootout because Kepa, you know, you know, can save penalties. When it comes to penalty shootout, sometimes he has a good record and sometimes he doesn't. So we'll see. But if David Dwyer is doing the penalty shootout, then Man City will definitely win the penalty shootout because Donnarumma, in terms of penalty shootouts, he can do well both for club and country. So you know what I mean. So we'll see, man. Of course, also Arsenal fan. I'm hoping that will probably beat Man City in 90 minutes instead of the penalty shootout because you know what I mean. Because since they put in Donnarumma and since Arsenal know that Donnarumma is very good at penalty shootouts, they want to avoid that Arsenal. They really do. So for me, yeah, I'm gonna predict a draw. I think it's going to be going to a penalty shootout, and if I had to choose one team to win a penalty shootout, I'm just going to go and edge it for Man City. Just about. I'm just going to go and edge it to Man City when it comes to penalty shootout because Donnarumma is a very good when it comes to penalty shootout. So I'm going to go for 1-1, and I think Man City will possibly win 4-3 on penalties. I think Donnarumma will make one save, and that will make it Man City. Actually, no. Hmm. Yeah, I think Donald will make maybe one or two saves, and maybe Man City will probably win 4-2 on penalties. So, yeah, I'm gonna go for 1-1 after extra time, and then 4-2 to Man City on penalties, just about. So that's going to be my prediction. I know also fans will hate me to say this, but if let's say that if it ends in 90 minutes, I'll go for Arsenal. But if it goes to a penalty shootout, then Man City will win it. So I really don't know, man. It's going to be a very tough game to predict, but I think it's going to be 1-1, and Man City will just about edge it because Donnarumma is really good when it comes to penalty shootouts for both club and country. So yeah, man, we shall see. But if you guys go and score prediction for the Carabao Cup final, then do them in on the comments down below. But people, that's the end of this video. And this will be the final game before the international break in March. So yeah, man, 2 weeks works, and then the games resume during the Easter weekend. So there we go. But yeah, make sure you guys do like, share, comment, subscribe if you have enjoyed this video, and if you are new to this channel, share this video to all your friends and family so that they can tune in as well to the predictions. And yeah, just let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. Where do you agree or disagree with my predictions that I've done today? And if you go and score predictions, then do let me know in the comments down below. But people, it's your boy Lightux Football here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Enjoy the rest of the games, and I'll speak to you later. Take care, goodbye, God bless, and yeah, I'm out of it, people. Peace.